Hello there, welcome to the news on NTV PSPN. I'm Smita Gising Tamang and these are the headlines of this hour. Parliamentary Probe Committee to investigate manipulation in Federal Civil Service Bill formed. PM Oli briefs House of his Spain visit. Medics across the country shut down all services except emergency protesting decision to fine doctor and hospital. Service seekers face inconvenience. Israel launches strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. Attack comes ahead of Israeli PM Netanyahu's visit to the White House. U.S. President Trump announces additional 10% tariff on import from BRICS countries, says there will be no exceptions. And ACC Under-16 East Zone Cup winning Nepali cricket team receives presidential welcome. President Paudel hails Nepal's remarkable success in cricket. The news in detail. A parliamentary probe committee has been formed to investigate an error in the report of the Federal Civil Service Bill related to changes made to the cooling off period provision. The 7-member special committee has been tasked with identifying how the alteration occurred and recommending actions against those involved. It has also been instructed to propose measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. The members of the committee are Jeevan Pariyar and Sushila Singh from Nepali Congress, Ishwari Gharti and Narayan Prasad Acharya from CPN UML, Madhav Sapkota from CPN Maoist Centre, Ganesh Parajuli from RSP and Roshan Karki from RPP. They have been given 21 days to complete their investigation. Controversy emerged after the bill, originally passed unanimously by the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee, included a clear provision requiring a 2-year cooling-off period before retired civil servants could be reappointed. However, by the time the bill was passed by the House of Representatives, a new clause had been inserted exempting gazetted special and first-class officers from that requirement. This alteration has drawn sharp criticism and raised questions about legislative integrity. Both the Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party have declined to participate in the committee, citing their opposition to a body formed under the leadership of Nepali Congress. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has informed Parliament about Nepal's participation and achievements at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development held in Seville, Spain. In today's meeting with the House of Representatives, Prime Minister Oli stated that the conference has contributed to increasing new partnerships globally for economic diplomacy and has further accelerated the achievement of sustainable development goals. In the conference, Prime Minister Oli addressed on behalf of the least developed countries, advocating for their justice and socio-economic development. He informed that through the implementation of the Sevilla Commitment, these countries expect to receive global support and assistance for their upgrading. He mentioned that Nepal is set to graduate to a developing country by 2026. Prime Minister Oli shared information to the House about his leadership and advocacy commitments through his address to the meeting of the Group of Least Developed Countries LDCs, various slide presentations and roundtable discussions. With 44 least developed countries, Nepal has demonstrated the potential for effective leadership among those nations during the conference, he clarified. Prime Minister Oli also shared that Nepal has adopted a democratic and liberal system for civil society. Prime Minister Oli said that the relations between Nepal and the United Nations have strengthened and advocacy has taken place for the development of least developed countries. Meanwhile, two opposition parties, the Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, RPP, boycotted today's meeting, demanding formation of parliamentary committee regarding visit visa scam. Time for a short break now. We shall be back with more updates, too. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the remaining updates. Hospitals and the health institutions across Nepal have shut down all services except emergency care today following a call by the Nepal Medical Association (NMA). The protest is in response to recent decisions by the Consumer Court regarding cases of medical practices. At Bir Hospital, the country's oldest hospital, only follow-up and patients with emergency intervention are being treated. Earlier, health workers across the country had shown their dissatisfaction over the court verdict by wearing black bands on their wrists while on duty. The protest follows the court's rulings that ordered Grandi Hospital and its doctors to pay 5.7 million rupees in compensation for alleged medical negligence. Similarly, Himal Hospital and its doctors were ordered to pay 14.5 million rupees and Om Hospital was fined 5.7 million rupees. NMA said that the medical profession is a highly sensitive and science-based service which should not be evaluated in the same way as other professions. The NMA has urged the court, the Ministry of Health and Population and other relevant authorities to review the recent verdicts. Visiting Foreign Minister of Switzerland Ignacio Daniel Giovanni Cassis paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli today. During the meeting, the two leaders exchanged views on further strengthening the friendly relations between Nepal and Switzerland and enhancing cooperation in the development sector. Minister Cassis reiterated Switzerland's continued support for Nepal's development, including the enablement of federalism, successful conclusion of transitional justice, climate change mitigation and adaptation, and disaster management efforts. The Prime Minister said despite Nepal's history of prolonged conflict and political instability, the current coalition government comprising two major political parties aims to promote development, good governance and democracy through collaboration. He also acknowledged Switzerland's long-standing support for Nepal's development efforts. Also present at the meeting were Dr. Daniel Mowili, Swiss ambassador to Nepal, and officials from Nepal's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Parliamentary Hearing Committee has unanimously approved all three proposed Supreme Court justices and a member at Judicial Council for appointment. Today's meeting of the committee endorsed the proposed Senior Advocate Meghraj Pokhrel, Chief Judge of the High Court Janakpur Shrikant Paudel, and Chief Judge of the High Court Dipayal Shanti Singh Thapa for their appointment as SC justices, said Committee Joint Secretary Nirmala Devi Lamichhane Vasti. Similarly, the committee also approved Mahesh Kumar Nepal for his appointment as a member of the Judicial Council. Earlier, the committee had suggested Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Ajay Kumar Chaurasia to pay attention in order to make appointment at judiciary and constitutional bodies inclusive. Time again for a short break. We shall see you at the other side with more updates. Welcome back. You're with NTV News and now the news from around the world. Israel carried out its first strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen since the Israel-Iran ceasefire, attacking ports and a power plant around midnight local time Sunday night onto Monday morning. The attacks came shortly after the Israeli military issued evacuation orders for civilians in the areas, warning of imminent airstrikes. Meanwhile, there are growing hopes of a new Gaza ceasefire announcement as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington. Trump previously told reporters he had been very firm with Netanyahu about ending the conflict and that he thought they'll have a deal this week. Indirect talks between Israel and Hamas on a U.S.-sponsored proposal for a 60-day ceasefire and hostage release deal resumed in Qatar on Sunday evening. However, it is unclear whether key differences that have consistently held up an agreement can be overcome. BRICS leaders meeting in Rio de Janeiro on Sunday called for negotiators to reach a quick and unconditional ceasefire to end the 22-month-old war on Gaza. The 11-nation bloc said in a final summit statement. They asked the parties to engage in further negotiations to achieve an immediate, permanent and unconditional ceasefire. The BRICS also called for a full withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip and all other parts of the occupied Palestinian territories. The bloc statement came as Gaza truce talks between Israel and Hamas resumed in Doha and as pressure mounted to end the war. In a joint statement released on Sunday afternoon, the leaders assembled called attacks against Iran's civilian infrastructure and peaceful nuclear facilities a violation of international law. US President Donald Trump lashed out at the 11 nations of BRICS Sunday, vowing to impose an extra 10% tariff against the coalition that includes Brazil, Russia, India and China. Trump on his Truth Social platform wrote any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff, adding there will be no exceptions to this policy. Trump, however, did not clarify or expand on the anti-American policies reference in his post. More updates at the other side, but first, let's have a look at what we have coming up next. A jury in Morwell, Australia has found Erin Patterson guilty of cooking a deadly mushroom lunch that killed 3 of her relatives and left another seriously ill. Patterson's in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, both 70, along with Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson, 66, all fell ill and died days after the lunch. The prosecution claimed Patterson knowingly put toxic death cap mushrooms into the home-cooked meal before lying to police and disposing of evidence. The defense had argued that she accidentally included the poisonous fungi in the dish and only lied about she panicked. Now the sports.